to the founding week that started this podcast. It's Texas A&M week.
But we won't address that right away. We're saving that for last.
Yeah, we are just hyping you up early, building anticipation as we go into it today. Let's go. Like we usually start with a little recap. Rod started us off with a 5-3, another positive record this week. Moving all the way up to 51-44, a very good record for him.
Almost at 100.
A lot of bets, exactly. I'm a little lower, but I was even for the week. I went 2-2-1. Our first ever push, I believe. At least the first push of the year, bringing me to a total of 26-24-1. I'm also above 500 for the year. That's a couple weeks in a row. We're both over 500.
Yep.
So
hey,
that's
we're cooking towards the end of the season.
We're cooking towards the end of the year.
Come playoff time.
We're hitting in prime time. Exactly. I'm gonna just start us off by looking at last week, looking at at what we thought could be a contender after a big win. They come out and they struggle against Missouri a little. They get the win. They got the win by a certain amount, but that offense just really could not do anything, or only 17 points against Missouri. What are your takeaways from this game?
Yeah, man, I think my takeaways are we've kind of seen it since Mateer came back that OU has a defense that could win it all, but their offense cannot. Yeah. And I think their defense only can carry them some far, but when they're facing some of the elite offenses, especially in the playoffs, which we all kind of see them at this point, I don't think they can match up and keep up with those offenses. I think their defenses are going to make some plays, but when it comes to it, I don't think their offense can keep up with some of the elite offenses. I liked what I saw from Santanga. We've seen him all season being a third down guy from tier, and he had an 87 or 90-yard touchdown, really good from him. And that OU defense again stepping up. And then it looked a little shaky at first, Missouri controlling the ball a lot in the first half. Hardy and Pribula were kind of cooking, and I think it was just OU's defense forcing them to field goals and forcing some turnovers that led them to that win. And I think if they had the offense they kind of showed it in the first couple games, I think this team could be really dangerous, and they still are with that defense, but I just don't see them making a deep run in the playoffs, to be honest.
Yeah, I agree. I think we're kind of looking at in a very different way. I think they're just going to get beat kind of in a way that Tennessee was in the playoff a year ago, but obviously Tennessee, what they had was that they were explosive with Nico.
Yeah, they were more explosive. They were more explosive, but not as this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this, obviously, Oklahoma defense is the opposite of that. Mm-hmm. But I think they're kind of like the same two-loss team, stuff like that. Go on the road and lose, kind of a CC team. But I think that, I think you put it. You said all there is to say. I mean, that defense can shut anybody down. They obviously proved that against Alabama, but they fell short offensively. Even in a win like this, I think it just shows how they really can't put offensive points on anybody.
I will say, I think right now they're slotted as the 8th seed.
Yeah, the 8th.
So depending on who they would draw, I think they could win a playoff game because they would be at home, and depending on who they draw with that defense, but I don't think I see them making it past that second round. Excuse me.
All right, This time U of O, the University of Oregon, they actually handled business in the way they were supposed to against USC in a good game and a little bit of a shootout against the Trojans. What are your takeaways from that game?
I think it was kind of like how we predicted, kind of similar to the Notre Dame game where Oregon just kept, or that USC defense just kept, couldn't stop the Oregon offense or Notre Dame offense, and it was kind of like a 2-touchdown to 1-touchdown game the whole time, kind of like we thought. And I think it was just another display from Jaden Mavia, another great showing from him, and another great showing from Dante Moore. And I think I did surprise me a little bit that, USC is a great offense, but that they were able to move for most of the game up and down, especially with the talent on that team. But I think for me, Oregon was the better offense and better defensively, and that's what won the game, especially being at home.
Yeah, I agree. Obviously, that defense was able to step up against what was the better part of that USC team, their offense. They stopped Jaden Mava, Makai Lemon, and the rest of the guys, and that defense really stepped up. I mean, which is what we challenged them to do a week ago. They did that, and obviously offensively they were able to put it together how they've had a couple times this year. So very good, and I think the rankings have reflected a nice jump up for them that they'd kind of lost since people had doubted the Penn State game and stuff like that. So I think people are starting to see Oregon kind of like as what they should after this game.
Yeah, they have a little of a rivalry game on the road in a tough environment this weekend, but they should take care of business there. Let's go straight into your top 5 Heisman candidates. We didn't do our top 10 because none of those teams lost, so it would stay the same.
Number 5, I have. Sorry.
Yeah, again, man.
Let me pull up my script, not the general script. Number 5, I had him number 1 last time. He obviously had a tough loss where he didn't play particularly well against Oklahoma, but he was my number 1. I don't see a world where I can move him outside the top 5 just because of that. And I still think he's been an elite quarterback all year long. I have Ty Simpson from Alabama. Number 4, I have your guy, Marcel Reed. He's going to be a phenomenal quarterback this year. He obviously had the huge second half against South Carolina, take care of business against Samford. So can't really knock him too far. So I think he might actually be staying at 4 is where I had him last time. Number 3, I am moving up. I did have somebody who jumped Reed. I have Jeremiah Love. I think he needs to be up there. He showed it this week against Syracuse. He's been showing it. He's really been kind of like the heart and soul, the guy carrying that Notre Dame offense. That Notre Dame team, really, I mean. Yeah. But he's really been able to help out Carr kind of get his groove going, and he's just absolutely sensational. Number 2, I'm going with the quarterback of the best team in the country. I'm going with Julian Sagan. I had him high last time. I'm moving him up this time. While he necessarily hasn't been this typical season that you expect from a Heisman, the Johnny Manziel type seasons, but he has been very, very good. He's been kind of what you all want in a quarterback. He's been smart. He's been able to push the ball. He's been able to be safe with the ball. And he's just leading a really high-powered offense. So because of that, he's up there. And number 1, I think probably the number 1 most people have, Fernando Mendoza, has been absolutely sensational. He's taken Indiana to the next level. He can do everything with the ball. He has an incredible arm. He can push it down the field. He can play it safe. He can throw it down the middle. He's really good, and hopefully he has that clutch gene down the stretch in the playoffs. But as of right now, he's the Heisman favorite in my opinion.
Yeah, I'll go straight into mine. My number 5 is Diego Pavia. 6 touchdowns this weekend in a blowout win against Kentucky. He's really, to me, really turned around this Vanderbilt program along with Eli Stowers and taking them to heights they've never seen before. They're fighting for a playoff spot, so I had to give him a shout out at 5. Number 4, I got Jeremiah Love. Like you said, putting up crazy numbers at 3 touchdowns and 100-plus yards. He's had multiple ones of those games. And I got Julian Sagan. A lot of what you mentioned, quarterback for the number 1 team, has put up great numbers and done enough for his team to win against inferior competition. Then I got Marcel Reed. This is kind of current, but also I'm kind of projecting him having a big Heisman moment on Friday. And he kind of had one in the second half against South Carolina, even though he had a disaster class moment in the first half. But he did enough in half a quarter in Samford to put up some stats. And he's leading an undefeated team in the SEC right now. So have to give him a shout out. And then number 1, Mendoza is putting up the stats. He's going to stat pad again this weekend against Purdue. And then if he has a big championship game, he's leading the number 2 Hoosiers and to a record we didn't expect this season, or to the heights we didn't expect, I guess, this season. All right, man, let's move in straight to the NFL reactions here. The Bears escape with another close win here against the Steelers with no Rodgers, though. Since you're a Steelers fan and you probably watched from minute 1 to the minute 60, what were your thoughts on this one, man?
I'm going to start off with my team. I'll let you handle the Bears on this one. That was a very, very Steelers performance. It kind of encapsulates what we've been over the last 10 years or the last or at least since the Ben Roethlisberger came back from injury, they've just been bland. They've been simple, and they didn't look good. That defense played very bad football. Uh, I know you had some decent plays, but that was not a good game from them. Especially they'd been having some better games recently. That was another step backwards from them. Offensively, I know you put up 28 points, but 21 of those were in the first half. Terrible in the second half. Mason Rudolph, well, the stats don't look absolutely terrible. He was just checking it down. He didn't really take any chances. He didn't look good. He didn't look confident. He just looked safe. Makes you wonder how bad Aaron Rodgers' risk could be that he couldn't take a chance out there, take a stab at it. Yeah, I mean, just bad overall. It's been my biggest problems for years. It can't change. There's just complacency in the Steelers building, and I think it's going to stay like that for a couple of years till we really, really want to change. But I don't see Art Rooney wanting change. There's people in seats, and that's all he cares about. So.
Yeah, man, I think Gainwell had a good game for you guys.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
He had it last week too in the game. So he's been a nice little inspiring tick for us. Protection, I don't think this week was worth it, maybe because Mason Rudolph was very statuesque in the pocket, but there's been signs of encouragement from the players. Obviously, I really like our D-line going forward. I think Black and Harmon are very bright spots. Obviously, on the O-line, I've been very outspoken supporter of Zach Frazier. I think Fautanu is doing a great job this year. So I like what we have with Spencer Anderson as the swing tackle. I mean, there's a lot to like, and we've definitely gotten better on the offensive line this year than we've been in years past. So, but I just think there's some more fundamental issues with the Steelers that linger on from year to year.
Yeah, I think it's a lot of showing bright flashes and not just having the consistency to put it together even throughout the whole season, but even like in a game we've seen a lot of second half collapses, especially
like the
Chargers,
the Chargers, the
Packers.
One
Yeah, that's
really
the one I was thinking about. Yeah, and then this one of the Bears. I think it was kind of a lot of what we've seen from these two teams this season. A great first half performance for the Steelers, kind of mediocre from the Bears, and then a great second half from the Bears, and a bad one from the Steelers, and it kind of bit you guys in the end. And then the Bears escape with another close win, like they have all season, and quietly move to 8-3.
8-3, top of the division.
And Caleb Williams had a great game. I mean, the Steelers past the back end has not been very strong, so we kind of expected that coming in. And Ben Johnson gave him plays and gave him the tools to kind of dice up that defense and lead to that win. And now they're sitting pretty top of the division, and they have the two teams chasing after them playing each other this weekend.
Exactly. So one of them has to drop.
Yeah. But we'll move on to this next one. Chiefs pick up a must-needed win here to keep their playoff hopes alive against the red scorching Colts in OT. What were your thoughts on this one?
Great job from the Chiefs in that fourth quarter coming back. Kind of classic Mahomes style win there that you've grown to expect, especially last year when they had all those, and then in the playoffs he's been able to do that time after time after time. So, I mean, that's encouraging that you can see them fight back, finally win one of those one-score games. They hadn't done that all year. Obviously, that defense did a very good job holding Indianapolis to 20 points. They've been able to do that a couple of times a year. It was the offense that struggled to get going. The offense did struggle to get going, but they eventually did get going this game towards the very end, which was the differentiating factor. And if they can channel that fourth quarter overtime energy, that's going to be the Chiefs of old that we've expected, and we've all kind of been expecting to show up once they sneak into the wild card. And we're all fearing that's going to show up in the playoffs and come back and reappear in the Super Bowl. I think they're getting close to that. I think they showed signs of life with that here. From the Colts side of things, you slowly start concerning yourself. There was the Pittsburgh game where you started kind of slow, then came back, and then this one was kind of the opposite. You were up early. You were up 20-9 in the fourth. I mean, I feel like if you're going to be able to compete in the playoffs, especially against a team like the Chiefs that has, honestly, a quarterback advantage, I think most teams in the AFC will have a quarterback advantage over Indianapolis. You're going to want to be able to hold on to those leads defensively and those cracks are kind of the big concerns that you're going to have going with them into the playoffs.
Yeah, I think difference for the Chiefs were at the end of the game they had the better quarterback, and he kind of took control of the game at the end. And Rashee Rice had a monster game. Travis Kelce had a decent game, and Saberworthy was getting involved early. Yeah, I think that was the difference. I think the Chiefs, this was a playoff game for them, and at home, it was hard for them to give that one up. So it showed a lot of determination to come back, and it could give them momentum for the rest of the season, maybe turning that game around against a great opponent. But if you're the Colts, you still got control of that division a little bit, even though Jacksonville's a little bit behind. But
Yeah.
I think you're still the better team, and you just keep charging forward. You lost basically playoff game for another team who is very experienced, so I wouldn't be worrying too much if I was Indianapolis.
Yeah, I agree with a good amount of what you said. Let's move on to a big destruction and honestly maybe potential, not season-ending, but maybe season. I don't know. Didn't look good for Tampa Bay and Baker Mayfield getting hurt, but the Rams really looking just sensational. What are your takeaways from this game? What did you see from both of these teams?
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, Baker got hurt. Hopefully, it's not anything too serious. Maybe he's just out for a couple weeks and could get him back for the playoffs, maybe. But for the Rams here, I mean, another dominant performance. Stafford, Adams, and Puka. Stafford, 30 touchdowns on the season, 2 picks, which is ridiculous. MVP favorite. They dominated from the jump, going up, I think, 28-7, if I'm not mistaken, and kind of slowed down a little bit in the second half offensively, but that defense, especially with a backup quarterback, kind of taking care of business. And at the end of the day, the Rams were the better team, and they kind of exerted from the jump. And to me, they'll be a number 1 seed. They still have a tough date with Seattle, but even if they lose that, they are the best team in the NFC to me. So they'll shore up the 1 seed, if not the 2 seed.
Yeah, I agree. They're definitely the best team. To me, not just in the NFC, I think the best team in the NFL as of right now. Obviously, like you said, if they drop the Seattle game, the only issue is going to be, I think, the tiebreaker is going to come down. I think it comes down to Philadelphia right now. If they end up having the same record as Philadelphia, they're obviously a game ahead right now. They just look phenomenal at every phase of the game. Their defense is lights out. They can shut anybody they want down. That D-line is absolutely phenomenal, and they're getting a lot better in the back end, so that's very good. And then what's to say about that offense? You can run it with Cameron Williams if you want, however you want it. You obviously saw it 2 weeks ago. He had the big game. Now this week, it was Devontae Adams who had a nice little showing. Matt Stafford looking like the true MVP. I think he is going to be very likely MVP unless he has a real collapse here down the stretch, but he's looking really good. Who would have thought 38-year-old Matt Stafford would be his MVP year? From the Buccaneers side of things, I mean, you have it simple because all you have to do is hold on to the worst division in football. Who knows what Baker's outlook is, how bad the injury is, when he'll come back. He can possibly come back this week. He's questionable, so we'll see how limited his ability is going to be. Injuries have kind of been the thing plaguing Tampa Bay, and it's just going to be how healthy can you get and how soon before I decide to hit the panic button.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure. They have 2 games or maybe 1 game ahead of Carolina. I know Carolina has a tough game this weekend, so as long as you just keep hold at the top of that division, you'll be good. And hopefully, I mean, if he's questionable, he shouldn't be gone for the playoffs, so hopefully they can get him back soon. The last game here we'll talk about, the Cowboys with a big comeback versus divisional rivals. Can they get rolling for the playoffs, maybe?
I mean, I think they're already rolling. I think this is 2 weeks.
Or continue to roll.
I think this is 2 weeks of rolling now. It was looking like it was just, they played the Raiders early on, 21-0, but they got going. They trusted Dak. He turned it up. That defense with Quinnen Williams and Kenny Clark, the big acquisitions, really.
Kenny.
Yeah, they stepped up. Dallas defense has been significantly better over these last 2 weeks. And they've really set up the opportunity for the offense to do what they do. I mean, obviously against the Raiders, it's a little different. But now that they've done it against a real opponent in an NFC elite Super Bowl contender in Philadelphia, it just cements that if they find a way to sneak in, if they have enough time and enough games to get in there, they could. I'm not saying I don't think they're serious contenders, but they could. If it's Tampa that they end up playing, they could beat Tampa if Tampa's playing the way they're playing right now. Maybe if it's the Bears, they could beat the Bears. I don't know if they draw a game against whoever is the 2 seed in Philadelphia or the Rams. I don't think they could go into Philadelphia or into LA to win those games. But I think if they find themselves somehow in Chicago, or if they find somehow themselves in Tampa, I think they could be staring down the win if they keep playing the way they played on Sunday.
Yeah.
In the second half.
Yeah, ever since the Logan Wilson trade, we've really turned up our defense. He's been the real difference maker, Logan Wilson. Not Quinn. I'm kidding. No, the defense has looked better. Looked a little shaky there in the first half, but then came out and go up a single point in the second, which kind of has happened to Philadelphia a lot this season, but still impressive, especially how bad our defense has been playing. Pickens had a monster game. CD had some drops in the first half, still concerning. He's had a couple drops this year, not looking like himself. Hopefully he can bounce back, but Pickens was playing the way he's playing, like wide receiver 1. We just need CD to make some plays here and there. And then for the Philly side, obviously kind of ugly wins back-to-back against a divisional rival, not too concerned. I'm more concerned of Saquon's not looking like his old self. It's not just a down year compared to last season. It's just a down year in general. And that's really concerning, especially he's kind of like the identity of his team. And in the second half, that's what like they used him as 100% focus of the offense to put teams away. And that's what they've kind of been struggling with. And obviously that fumble doesn't help them, and they also had a fumble on a kick return, if I'm not mistaken, in the fourth. So those turnovers really were the difference, and then Dallas cooking in the second half defensively and offensively.
Yeah, I think you summed it up really nicely there. I think what it does the most is raise concerns over the longevity of this Philadelphia team and what they can do down the stretch.
Yeah.
I don't think I'd be as confident to favor them in a game against the Rams as maybe you would have been 3-4 weeks ago. No. I mean, I think I've favored the Rams all year, even when
when they played, Well, they lost because they got 2 field goals blocked. That's just execution.
Just not as confident in Philadelphia as what should be right now.
Yeah, and then for Dallas, rolling to the playoffs, I kind of nail our season down to these next 2 weeks. I think we got to win. Well, the next 3 out of 4 weeks, just because of the opponents. At the end of the stretch, we have Commanders, Giants. I think we should take care of business against those. But we have 3 big games that I think if we win 2 out of 3 and we end with 10 wins, we could slide in that 7 or 6 seed. That would be against, obviously, Kansas City this weekend, Detroit on the road, and then at home versus the Chargers. I think if we pick 2 of those up, we'll be looking in good position. Obviously, they're a great team, so that's going to be hard to do. But we do get 2 of them at home, so hopefully we can get it done. All right, let's move on to the predictions. We're going with the NFL first today.
For obvious reasons. I think y'all can understand why we have decided to move things, and if not, stick around and find out.
Yeah. All right, the first one, Thanksgiving morning, wake up, maybe have some snacks while your parents are cooking, maybe the food's already ready. Have some turkey, have some stuff, and some cranberry sauce. Maybe the pumpkin pie's already rolling around. You don't know, man. I
I'll wake up in time for this game.
But we got an NFC North battle on early Thanksgiving at 12. Packers versus Lions, trying to keep up with the Bears, trying to fight for the top of that division. Who you got here in Detroit, man?
I've said it all year long, kind of. I think the Lions get revenge the second time around. I think Thanksgiving is their day. I think they've lost in Thanksgiving time and time again. Joe Burrow said it. They asked him about Thanksgiving. He's like, you just get up. You saw Calvin Johnson go for 400 yards from passes from Matthew Stafford, but the Lions lose anyway. I think the Lions don't lose today or Thursday on Thanksgiving. I think both teams have found themselves in kind of a little bit of a rough stretch, a little bit. But I think Green Bay has found themselves in a bit more of a rough stretch as of right now. They've struggled a lot more on offense. I don't think Jordan Love's necessarily gotten going the way he can. And I think when it comes to it, I think I have more faith in the Lions offense to be able to score on any time, even against that defense, more so than the Green Bay one against the somewhat struggling Lions defense. So I'm going with Detroit to get their revenge from that nice little beating they took week 1.
Yeah, I unfortunately agree. I think this is a typical two great divisional teams split battles. I think the Packers haven't looked anything like they looked the first couple weeks.
Yeah.
And they've kind of been sliding down. And
yeah, the closest they've gone is that second half against Pittsburgh. They did really look great, but that was the only time.
Yeah, and I think Jahmyr Gibbs has been looking insane. He's hit a different stride. Amon-Ra had a great early start to the season. I think he'll pick it. Go back to those insane standards he had. He'll have a big game like he always does in Thanksgiving. And I think Detroit Thanksgiving these last couple of years have just been dominant. And I think, it'll be a close game. They're both great teams, but I think Detroit takes care of business and kind of keeps up with the Bears a little more in that divisional battle. I'm not saying on the field, sorry.
Let's keep it rolling on the Thanksgiving theme. Thanksgiving Day. Another traditional Thanksgiving team. Traditional 3:30 or 3:30 Central Standard Time, which is where we are. Yeah. Window is the Cowboys. They always host a game. They're playing the Kansas City Chiefs. And what you said is a big, important game for both of these team seasons. They're kind of both needing this win if they're trying to find themselves in the playoffs. What are you looking forward to in this game?
I think it's the first time I'm going to see Mahomes in AT&T Stadium, if I'm not mistaken. I think that'll be cool. I'm not going to be there, but it'll be cool to see him there. And honestly, this is tough, man. Both teams kind of need this win to keep their playoff hopes alive. Obviously, if they lose, they can still keep it alive, but it makes the road a little harder. I'll be looking at if Quentin Williams and Kenny Clark can keep up their performance and kind of get to Mahomes and bother him a little bit, kind of like those big defensive tackles did back in the Super Bowl for Philly. And I think I am going to pick the Cowboys. I would say 90% because of bias, but also because I want this win. But also because our defense has been looking better, and this passing offense, and even Javonte Williams has had big games, is lethal. And I think George Pickens is going to cook, and if he doesn't cook, CeeDee's going to cook. It's hard to guard two.
So pick your poison.
Yeah, so I don't know which poison they're going to pick, but I think they're both bad, and I think we'll start a little slow like we always do, but Kansas City has been starting slow a lot this year as well. But I think at the end of the game, I think we're going to have a big play to Pickens and take care of business.
Yeah, I think I'm going to disagree on this one. I'm going with Kansas City.
Like I said, 90% bias.
I'm going with the Chiefs on this one. As much as I'd like Dallas to win, I really do prefer the Cowboys win this one, as much as I don't like the Cowboys. But I think Kansas City is coming off a bigger win. Actually, no, not coming off the bigger win. But Kansas City just beat a better opponent than the Cowboys are to the Chiefs. I think they're going to attack them differently. I think, obviously, the strength of the Indianapolis offense is Jonathan Taylor. It's the opposite with the Cowboys. It's CeeDee Lamb. It's George Pickens. But I think the Kansas City defense is set up to stop them. I think they can put pressure on Dak through the middle of the field. They have Chris Jones, obviously. They have Karlaftis that can come through the edge. I think there's good ability to put pressure on him and the strength. I've always been a big fan of McDuffie. Now, he hasn't necessarily had the career year, or anything, but
he's still
a good player. So I think they're going to be able to do a good job of keeping Dallas to a minimized offense, not necessarily as explosive a game as they've been able to have some games. And then offensively, I think we're looking at Mahomes is someone who knows how to take advantage of the weak secondaries. Even if he's pressured, he's the kind of guy who can escape. Any mistake that those secondary is going to give him, he's going to take it. So I think, to me, that's the difference maker, and that's why I'm going with Mahomes and the Chiefs.
Yeah, I think something that'll be interesting to watch out is if the Chiefs lean on Kareem Hunt as heavily as they did last game, especially with those two big D linemen. I'm not saying they can't run it on them. They obviously can. I just want to see if they kind of run back the script from last game and feed them as much as they did. Let's move on to a Friday game. These are rare in the NFL, only one to start the season. But two 8-3 teams battle on Black Friday, I think at 2 p.m. Central, if I'm not mistaken, or around that time. Bears versus Eagles in Philadelphia. Who you got, man?
Yeah, with some of if you look at the way the Eagles have lost recently, in fact, in kind of all their games this year, it's looking like this is the kind of game the Bears would win, especially the way the Bears have been winning. But even with that, I'm just going to go with the Eagles. I think it's a safe choice. I think it's time for the Bears to kind of finally, kind of get bit back. I don't think they can. The way they've been winning is necessarily as sustainable as it can be. I think Philadelphia has the good ability to be able to be the defense that finally shuts down this Bears offense, and a young quarterback I think can struggle against the defense and what they've been doing this year. I think this is the game for that. And then the Bears defense is kind of what I think is going to be a get right game. Obviously, you just had Mason Rudolph go for 28 points on that defense. You just have Kenneth Gainwell have a really good game against that defense. That translate that to Jalen Hurts and CeeDee Lamb. When the receivers are now A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith rather than Calvin Austin, Roman Wilson, and DK Metcalf. So I think this is a golden opportunity for Philadelphia to get a get-right win over what has been a good NFC team this year.
Yeah, I'm going to agree. I think Philly bounces back here at home, and I think the Bears are a great team. They're going to be in this game. But I think at the end of the day, that Philly defense is kind of going to bounce back from that rough second half, and they're not facing the weapons that are the Cowboys and the Bears. And I think Caleb's going to struggle a little bit, and at the end of the day, this Eagles team is just better on a lot more places, and they're at home and bounce back spot. And I do like the Bears, but I think this game's not for them. But I do think that spread of 7 may be a lot because they're defensive and field goals type of teams and low scoring. I'll take the touchdown, but no, the Eagles are going to win this one.
All right, one last game for us to predict in the NFL. Couple of teams that took L's last week, but they play each other. Both teams that had been leading their divisions earlier in the year. Buffalo lost it in a divisional loss against the Patriots a couple weeks ago. The Steelers lost it this week. Who do you think has a little bounce back win this week?
Unfortunately, man, I'm going to go the Bills. I do like the Steelers teams. I think they're capable to beat the team like the Bills, but I think the Bills, with Josh Allen in a bounce-back game, kind of must win to at least keep up with the division. I think, especially with the Steelers struggling secondary, I think Josh Allen will have kind of a field day, and I think it'll be close, back and forth. Maybe Steelers start out leading, but I think at the end of the game, Josh Allen coming from behind against that weak secondary, I think Josh Allen's going to take care of business. If Rodgers plays, it'll be way more interesting. I maybe lean the Steelers, but especially with Rudolph, I am going to take the Buffalo Bills here.
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm going to stick with you on this one. I'm going with the Bills as well. Like you said, the differentiating factor to me is Josh Allen. These have been two defenses that have been disappointing and underperforming this year. I think this is the kind of defense that Josh Allen can explode against. Maybe not so on the ground as much, but it's one where he'll be able to find Kincaid, he'll be able to find Shakir, he'll be able to find Coleman. He's going to have the options through the air, and I think James Cook can go on the ground and have a good game as well. So there are plenty of opportunities for the Bills, and I just think they're offensively superior to the Steelers, and I think it comes down to the offenses this week since both defenses, I think, have been letdowns.
Yeah. All right, now we move on to college football rivalry week, last week of the regular season. A lot to get through here, man. First one, Friday morning, we got Georgia. Do you think they punch their ticket to the playoffs here versus their rival Georgia Tech?
I think they do. I think Georgia Tech has been going a bit downhill. I think Georgia's kind of finding their going. They obviously had the huge win against the Texas Longhorns 2 weeks ago. Huge fourth quarter there. I think they continue on the momentum. They get a big win here in the morning and to secure the 4th seed. Or not the 4th, because we don't know how they're going to reward the conference championship games. In my opinion, the way it should work is they should secure the 3rd or the 4th seed. Yeah. Or I guess the 2nd seed, I could see.
They'll secure a top 5 seed.
They'll secure a top 5 seed, but I mean.
Yeah. We don't know how
they're securing their SEC championship spot, is what I'll say.
This is not a conference game. They technically already did that.
Yeah.
So it comes down to either Bama or us losing for them to slide in. Yeah. I'm also going to go with Georgia here. I think Haynes King had a great season, and that Georgia Tech team had a great season. And obviously, it doesn't matter for their conference aspirations, but I think they need something, especially after that loss, to slide in that game. But at the end of the day, this Georgia defense has really improved from what we saw against Alabama. And I think with Haynes King, yes, he'll get his points up, but this Georgia offense is one of the best in the country, and I don't think this Georgia Tech defense can stop them. I trust Georgia and that pass rush and those guys and Kirby Smart's schemes to stop Georgia Tech more. And yeah, I think Georgia wins. I think the spread is 13.5 around there. If I'm not wrong, I think it is pretty accurate. I think they win around 10 to 17 points.
Yeah, I think that's a little nice, safe assumption. I like that as well. Let's go on to another team that was looking. This team is looking to another Carson Beck team. This team is looking to find their spot in the championship game to see if they can sneak into the playoffs as well. Miami is trying to get that last win on their resume with a game against Pitt, who's also ranked. What are you looking forward to in this game? Do you think Miami can do it?
Yeah, I think Miami should take care of business in this game. We kind of saw Pitt struggle against Notre Dame. And obviously, it's not the same Miami that beat Notre Dame. It's not the same Notre Dame. But I do think this defense is going to be more troublesome for Pitt than Notre Dame was. And then I think Carson Beck's kind of had some bounce back weeks, and he'll have a good week. All he has to do is not turn the ball over and take care of the ball and make the throws he needs to. And his defense will take care of the rest. And unfortunately, Pitt needs this game to get into the conference championship game. But I don't think they have enough, and I think this Miami team is too talented, especially defensively, to lose this game. And I think they need this one for the playoff, but they need this to kind of silence the haters as well.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you on this one. I think Miami is the better team, especially as you said, defensively. They're just very talented, and I think they'll be able to shut down that Pitt team that, as you said, has struggled against good defenses like Notre Dame's. And as you said, it really does come down to will he turn it over? Will Beck turn it over 4 times again? I don't think he will. I think they come out with the win here.
Yeah, Jeremiah loves a different kind of breed, and he kind of torched Pitt, but the Miami has a talented running back room as well. I think if they lean on the ground, chew the clock, and just have Beck make throws that when he needs, and I think he's capable of it, they'll take care of business. All right, let's move on to the battle for Tennessee. We got Vandy versus Tennessee in Knoxville. What are your thoughts on this one, man? Vandy needs this for a playoff hope.
Yeah, I'm running with Vandy on this one, actually.
On
the road, I think they finally go into Knoxville. I think they get it done. You had Pavia number 5 on your Heisman list. I think there's a fair reason for that. I think they have all the momentum in the world right now. I don't think Tennessee has that. I don't think they've been as strong down the stretch. I don't think they've been that strong of a year. Obviously, that Georgia game was kind of a heartbreak for them, and it's kind of been downhill since there. I just think there's too much on the line for Vanderbilt that Tennessee doesn't have on the line right now. So I think with Pavia, I think this is the Heisman moment that Pavia has been waiting for, kind of, and I think he gets his big signature win that he didn't get against Alabama or Texas.
I'm actually gonna agree, man. I think Diego lives for these moments. I think he loves when he has all the pressure, big game situations, basically win and get in, lose and not even have a chance. I think Tennessee has struggled against good competition. I think especially against the pass, we saw Mississippi put up crazy amount of points. Mississippi State, put up crazy amount of points. We saw Mateer look probably the best he's looked since he's come back against that team. We've seen Georgia go crazy on him, so I think Vanderbilt, especially the way they're rolling offensively, can come in and put up a lot of points. And Joey Aguilar has kind of been loose with the ball, and especially against the Vanderbilt defense, that's, to me, one of the best against the rush. They're going to have to lean on Joey, and I think he's going to make some mistakes. And I think Pavia is going to take advantage and lead Vanderbilt to a big road win and maybe even to the playoffs if they pick up a signature win like this and have some falls before them.
Yeah, I agree. I like the Commodores on this one. Let's move to another SEC showdown with another QB that I really like. We have Ty Simpson facing off against his rivals in the Iron Bowl. Deuce Knight obviously having a fantastic debut this week. Can he and the and the Auburn faithful get it done this weekend, spoil Alabama's season?
Man, Alabama, one of the best teams in the country. You said it all season, had a little slip up against OU. But every time they have some aspirations going into Jordan Hare Stadium, it looks like they're going to lose and they pull it out late. I think it's going to be very similar. I think Auburn, that crowd somehow always riled up, especially when their team sucks even more. I think they're going to scare Alabama, but I think Kalen DeBoer gets his boys together, calms them down, and Ty Simpson leads them down the field in a game-winning drive for a field goal touchdown given the situation, and they win the game and walk off, and everyone's like, oh, maybe Alabama's not as good as we think, but this always happens to them, especially recently against Auburn on the road.
Yeah, I think I'm going with Alabama as well. I think you have more faith in Auburn than I do, actually. I think
it's weird, man. Every season,
I think
no
it's
matter
weird.
how
I think,
far they are.
like, I think this. I mean, if you were looking at Alabama Auburn with absolutely no history and anything, I think Alabama can win this game by 17 to 20 points. I think they're winning by 7 to 10 points. So I do think there's going to be close. I don't think it's going to come down to a 4th and 29 nail biter. Again.
No, I'm not saying 4th.
No, I mean, but it could be 4th and 1 to a nail biter.
Yeah.
Alabama's down. I don't think that happens. I just think it's going to be a 7 to 10 point game. I think Alabama is going to be 7 to 10 points ahead all game, and I think it's going to stay that way.
Yeah. Well, I think the way these teams are, I think Alabama should come in and stomp them by 30, but just something weird about when they come in at night in Auburn with some aspirations of making the championship game or the playoffs. The Auburn always gives them a scare, and I think it's going to happen again somehow, some way. All right, let's move on to the last game before the game we're going to talk about. Will Michigan beat Ohio State here for the 5th? Is it 5 years?
It would be the 5th year.
Fifth year in a row. Yeah.
It was what McNamara won the first one, then it was McCarthy in the shoe, McCarthy and Ann Arbor, the fantastic
last year
Warren with the upset, and then the Captain Jack and the flag issues, and now it would be under true freshman Bryce Underwood. I think that's where little Michigan streak ends. I just think, I think the reason why the first 3 years Michigan won, because Michigan was the better team. Last year, I think Michigan won because Ohio State tried to out-physical them. They tried to beat them with their run. They tried to show that we can beat you at the game you play, which wasn't Ohio State's game. I don't think they should have tried that. I think they learned a lesson that game, which won them the national championship, which was we are not going to ground and pound you offensive. We are the sexy offense. We are electric, and that's what they learned, and that's why they were able to dominate a team like Oregon. That's why they were able to strike in seconds against Texas in that Travion Henderson touchdown in the 10 and a half.
Kill Notre Dame in that first half.
Notre Dame. So I think they've learned that lesson, and I think they've been that team this year. And I think that's how they decide to attack this Michigan team this week, even if it's in Ann Arbor, even if it feels like it's less than 20 degrees, which it's looking like it's going to be. I do think, like you said with this Auburn game, I think this could be, if Michigan, Ohio State has no meaning, nothing, I think you're looking at what could be a 20-point game, the same way USC was able to beat Michigan. But it's Michigan, it's Ohio State. They're going to come out lights out to protect their 5-game streak. I think we're looking again at a 10-point game. I think we're looking at kind of like a 31 to 20, 21 game. But I do think Ohio State pulls it out. I mean, they do have Caleb Downs, the best defensive player. They do have Jeremiah Smith, the best offensive player, and they have. Well, I don't know if we can say with the way Jeremiah Love's been having, but what to me
maybe
is,
not the best season, but to me he's the best weapon on offense. Yeah.
Exactly. But to me, and what is to me going to be the Heisman runner-up in Julian Sain, so I'm going with the Ohio State Buckeyes on this one.
Yeah, I'm going to have to agree here. I think it's going to be a close game, rivalry game. Michigan's a great team, and they've had Ohio State's numbers these last couple of years. I think 10 points is a lot. I'm not going to lie. But to me, Ohio State, the difference this year than maybe the last 4 years is this, to me, that's the best defense in the country that I've seen. Not only name value, just what I've seen.
Yeah, how they've done.
And against a true freshman quarterback, obviously it's a Saints first hostile environment in a rivalry game. I'm curious to see how he's going to do in a big stage like that, and Underwood as well. He has a home crowd behind him. I think it's going to be close. I think Michigan's going to lead on the physicality in that run game and drain the clock a little bit. So that's why I think it's going to be closer than people think. But I think at the end of the day, this Ohio State team's too good, and especially after last year and that shock and a lot of people and their fans saying, "Oh, I'd rather beat Michigan in the national championship." They're going to take care of business this year and beat Michigan. And I mean, they need this win to make the championship too. So, and Michigan needs this win to make the playoffs. So, it'll be a great game there on Saturday morning, and I'm excited to see it.
Yeah, I agree. One more question. Do you think this is the best rivalry in college football?
Right now, yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Not
too.
like in my personal rivalry because I don't care about these teams, but in general, yeah.
I think it is. I think it is as well. I think there's just a history. What kind of the rivalry started over an actual war. Mm-hmm. They can't say each other's names. They're the team up north, the team down south.
See, I don't like that. That's the only part of the rivalry I don't like. It's like maybe each other's name, okay, but like the crossing out the letters. It's like, okay, bro, it's not that. Like, it's kind of cheesy to me, but...
I mean, doesn't your school say TU because you can't say our name?
I don't say that because, like I said, I don't...
You don't... Yeah, I don't buy into that. Weird. If we called y'all friggin'
MTA,
A&M Texas or whatever, I wouldn't do that. It's just ridiculous.
Here we go, man. The Lone Star Rivalry, the reason the podcast was created, a rivalry renewed. The 11-0 Texas A&M Aggies come in with championship hopes, with playoff hopes, even though I think the playoffs are locked up, win or lose. And then the Texas Longhorns coming in, trying to win to at least have a case for the playoffs, to ruin the Aggie season, probably the best Aggie season in forever. Yeah, man. I mean, I know who you got in this game, but let me see you break it down.
All right.
We will both be in attendance as well. I forgot to mention that. Yeah.
Before we break it down, I want to flash y'all back. Picture this. It's either August or late July. We're all hanging out, me, Rod's, a couple of friends, and we're talking football as friends do. And Rod says, yeah, I think this year, now that I'm graduated, I'm going to start being a Texas Longhorns football fan.
There's no evidence.
Over.
Do you have a video? No.
I have eyewitnesses. I can have multiple
eyewitnesses saying you snorted... or some Smarties. That doesn't mean it's correct.
Just know it was true, and he is denying in front of the camera.
No, I will say, I did say over time, maybe I'll fade since I live in Austin. But after seeing this team, after not seeing us go 8-4 and disappointing losses against Auburn and South Carolina, after seeing Marcel Reed carry us, and after going to that South Carolina game and feeling that emotion again, nah, this is an A&M game right here, man. Sorry, keep going.
All right. I was going to try and do a hype-up speech, but there's no need. I couldn't come up with that. That's why there's no need. I mean, it just comes down to the defense, as I think that's been kind of the story of this team. I mean, of these teams, really. It's been that A&M defense kind of let them down the first half against USC, and when they were able to step up in the second half, shut down that offense, bam, they come back. Texas, I mean, it's kind of been the same story. It was the Texas defense that kept them in the Kentucky game, but it was that Texas defense that let them down in the first half against Arkansas. It was the Texas defense that let them down against Mississippi State. So I just think it's whoever one steps up the most this week is going to be able to create the difference that wins them the game. Especially since I think, honestly, I mean, the Texas offense has been good the last couple of weeks. I mean, there was obviously, I forgot the Georgia game, which the offense could have been good if we could catch balls. Arch has gotten
Arch had a good game.
Arch had a good game. And obviously the defense was good for 3 quarters and absolutely destroyed in the fourth. So I think it's going to be that comes down to the different. I think the defense is honestly the difference in these games because I think the schemes are going to be fantastic. I think there was a way in which this Texas defense was able to shut down this offense a year ago. Obviously, the receivers are a lot more explosive this year, so that's going to be the interesting wrinkle. And the way Reed can throw the ball is a lot better than it was a year ago, so it's going to be a different scheme, but we'll see. That's going to be a very interesting matchup to see.
So who you got in this game? I'm confused.
I have the Texas Longhorns, obviously. I think this defense is going to show up. I think this is the game they've been waiting for all year. I think this is going to be the best game we've played since we beat Texas A&M and College Station a year ago. I don't think we
I
played.
thought that OU game was pretty good.
That OU game was good.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what happens if Niblett doesn't get that punt return touchdown.
That's true.
So, I don't think maybe we should. I think that was maybe the best defensive game we've played this year.
Yeah.
So, offensively, I think Arch continues on a good roll. Hopefully, Wingo and the rest of the receivers can hold on to the ball. That's the way we're able to in the second half against Arkansas, which we really did have a very good game offensively. That game, 52 points always, even if it's against Arkansas, it's always a good look, especially in SEC play.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm obviously going to disagree here, man.
Yeah. August Rods wouldn't.
I think, analyzing as a football fan, I forgot the train on my mind. Oh, here we go. I think it takes a special team to go undefeated in the SEC nowadays, and I think
which is exactly why
this
won't go
this
undefeated.
is a special team. I think it seems special since that Notre Dame win. There's something in the air. Those are the type of games we usually lose. We don't clutch up with a crazy catch on fourth down like that. And
wasn't there a flag by A&M on
there's
that play?
flags in every game, bro. You can't do that. There's flags in every game you can call back, and it changes the whole thing. If we're blaming the refs for wins and losses, this is irrelevant. What was I going to say? I think we have the better quarterback. We have the better offensive line. We have the better receivers. If Ruben Owens is available, we have the better running backs. D-line, I think it's very close. Maybe the edge to Texas. I think we have the best D-line player, but as a whole, maybe you guys got the edge. I think linebackers, close again. I think back end, close again, but I would lean A&M.
I disagree. I
think Taff has been poor since he came back. He got shaken and trucked out of his boots 20 times in that Arkansas game. A lot of the big plays were because of him. And I don't know if it's from his injury or what's going on, because obviously he was a beast last year. But I think with the shifty quarterback we got,
my big concerns with that, the way Taven Green was able to kind of run the ball sometimes.
And I think the weapons we have, and obviously the running game we've shown, Amari Daniels, obviously against Samford, but went nuclear last week. And, I mean, if Ruben Owens and Amari Daniels are available, two-headed monster there. That O-line, to me, is the best in the conference. And on the other side, we've seen that Texas O-line struggle, and I don't know how you guys are going to contain Cassius Howell. And we've seen when Arch doesn't have time, him struggle. And, yeah, I'm going to go with A&M. I think it's going to be back and forth. I think it's going to be close. But we've shown we can win by leading, by running, by passing, coming from behind. And I think our multitude ways of winning, even if we're down at halftime, I think Marcel Reed's going to come into Austin, pick up his Heisman moment, and then grab the flag and put it in the middle of the Longhorn. And I think the crowd is going to be a lot of A&M fans. I'm not saying like, it's going to be 50-50 or 60-40. I think there's going to be a lot of maroon in that stand, and they're going to be loud. They're going to be yelling. So I am going to go with A&M obviously here. But hey, if we lose, man, it doesn't matter. We're in the playoffs. We're a 5 seed. So, but obviously we want this win. Tired of being little brother, man. All right.
You will always and forever be little brother.
If we win this season, technically no, because we won. If I ever beat my brother,
I mean, that's just like my little brother beating me at a game. Oh, he's still gonna be little brother even if he can beat me at a game.
No, but that's different because that's actually age relation. Like, there's nothing he could ever do in his life that he would make you his big brother because he's like 8 years younger. It has nothing to do with that. This is just because you guys have beaten us, but I guess overall, technically yes, but this season, we wouldn't be little brother because we just came in and won. And went undefeated in the toughest conference in the country.
I understand. It's more of like a social thing.
I'm saying, as a whole, like in history, you can say, yeah, we're a little brother. But if you say, oh, you're a little brother this season, you can't say that if we come in and win.
Well, I mean, I don't think you look at it like maybe you go a little quiet, but like you still have the role of little brother.
Yeah, but all I can say is like, oh, How's how is waiting till next season to watch your team? How is 4 losses? So
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. We still beat our number 1 rival, so.
yeah, sure.
So, I mean, like, if we beat OU sucks.
They're in the playoffs. You're not.
OU sucks, man.
All right, let's go into your best bets here. Oh, actually, I'll go since I have it pulled up. First one, I got Cowboys +3. Could say I'm a wimp and not taking the money line, but I think we're gonna win. But if we don't, I'll take a field goal, especially against a Chiefs team that plays a lot of team close, and the Cowboys do too. Then I mentioned it earlier, Bears +7, struggling offenses, a lot of field goal game, and a lot of teams that win ugly. I think 7 points is a lot. And I got Chargers -9.5 versus the Raiders at home. The Raiders are just that bad, and the Chargers have been rolling, and I think they'll get a statement win at home. Then you know what it is. The signature double parlay, Jaguars money line, Colts money line here. Then I got Michigan +10 points. Like I said, I think it's too many points, especially in a rivalry game and a team kind of owned the last 4 years based on their style of play. I got Miami money line and Ole Miss money line parlay. 2 teams favored by around 6 or 7 that I think take care of business against rival teams. And then lastly, A&M money line. It's -130. We're favored by 2.5, which is kind of ridiculous. Who would ever thought A&M coming into a hostile environment against a great team like the UT Longhorns would be favored? But here we are, -130. You can say it's biased. I don't care. I'm going to bet it. I think we're going to win. Go ahead. Sorry.
All right, I have the Michigan +10 one as well. I think
It's
that's
too many points, bro. It's
It's
shocking.
kind of right where the line is. I kind of see it through there, but I think you might be right. I think it might be closer to a little 7, a little 6 action. I have Ole Miss -7. I just don't think Mississippi State is kind of in the right place right now, and I think Ole Miss is kind of in a spot where I think they've cemented a spot, but they still need to fight really well to see if they can go a little higher. So I think they show up to play really well. They get the big win. I got UT money line. I think it just kind of goes with what you just said about A&M. I think applies to me about UT. For the NFL, I have the 49ers -4.5. I mean, they've played well with Purdy back. They got the nice little win last night against the Panthers. So I think they come back, they do it again. CMC's just been a stud of a player, and they're getting Purdy back. They've been able to win bigger games, so I think they got it. Jags -6.5. They just play terrible opposition this week. They've been figuring things out these last couple of weeks since the Texans game. Obviously they had a somewhat closer game this week, but the Chargers game still inspires me, so I'm going with the Jags -6.5. And then speaking of which, I'm going with the Chargers -10. Again, just absolute terrible opposition, divisional game. I think this is kind of a get-right game. They're coming back from a bye week. I think it's kind of the right time for them to explode against a team that's just been downright embarrassing.
Damn, bro. Two similar ones?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good, man. Definitely bet those, I guess, because we've both been positive, and if we agree, and yeah. All right, guys. Thank you guys for watching. Enjoy those Thanksgiving football games, that food. Enjoy Friday NFL and college games. Great rivalry week. And then Saturday again and Sunday. We got 4 days in a row of great football. And kicking into the playoffs for college football, and then NFL kicking into the last season stretch.